All right, everybody, welcome to this thing. This is the first of what may or may not be many more of these things. We already have one of these scheduled for the Regatta. Basically, the concept here is that if we get some video, some races, we gather after we've had a couple days to digest, get our boats back, and decompress a little bit, but talk about the racing action while it's still somewhat fresh in our heads, and see if we can gain something out of it and see if it's worthwhile. So this is really just kind of a trial run to see if this is something we want to keep doing or not. But we have the video. I'll start off by just explaining what we're trying to do with that live stream, and that is to really just kind of at a consumer level broadcast a sailboat race with multiple cameras, and we have a couple more to go before we think we're there, but I think we just need to use the multiple cameras for more of a complimentary thing rather than trying to switch between them like a production, because Dave mentioned that I can fly a drone and do it, but I would just love to have a couple more drones here or there rather than try to do a whole production. So I think we're going to adjust some dials here and get it dialed in really nice, and I'm excited about what it could be. But it's we've proved that some things are there, but it's too messy right now, and I don't like it. But we're not giving up on it. But we're gonna have some fun. We did have a really good a video of the race 4 from the drone that I think does a really good job. So watch those, and we'll go from there. But first off, I just want to say thanks to everyone who raced in the regatta and everyone who's attending tonight. If you guys want to just go around and introduce yourselves real quick, if you want to, and say hello. Obviously, you know who I am. Why don't we start with the regatta winner? Mark, are you on? Mark Johnson. I don't think we have audio for Mark. Nope. Sorry, Mark. We're not hearing you. Well, he's working on that. We do have the second place boat. Peter Sobel and Dave Gorwitz are here. Guys, say hello.
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 Dave's boat. We sailed, and it's always a great coaching experience to sail with Dave.
You learn new words. Or maybe not. Mark sailed a hell of a good regatta. We wound up tied for first, and I don't know who makes up the tiebreaker rules, but he was gifted yet another win.
We had several racers. I can't remember who finished in third place. It was someone from Wisconsin, wasn't it? Wasn't it Grace?
No, it's Quinn and Quinn Link and Fiona.
And we have Quinn here. Quinn, can you say hello?
You see me?
Yep.
Hey. Whoops.
Quinn was in the yellow boat. He's like, who was the yellow boat that was always up in front? And I had to explain to my dad that it was this new Quinn guy that we. So you were noticeable, and you were noticeably up front. So that was pretty cool.
I also crashed into Eric's boat, so there was that too. So.
Why is everybody laughing? That's not funny. No.
It's luckily it's not on film, so we won't be going through that, I don't think, tonight.
The crash is not on film, but there's plenty of film of my boat getting tortured. That's for sure. So, my boat got run through the ringer. Got a lot of friendly faces on here. Hey, Jim Colgrove's on board. We have Adam Gerber from Decatur. Mark Johnson's dialing back in. Chick Clark from Indianapolis registered, but didn't make it, but showed up for the aftermath. We're looking forward to seeing Chick back out. So, and then there's Tim Montague. Tim Montague is a trophy winner. Say hi, Tim. You were a trophy winner.
Hey everybody, good to see you guys. It was a fun regatta. I was just happy to not crash into another boat and stay upright.
Very good. We have some Florida. We have a Florida sailor, Mark Taylor. He's always good for some analysis and commentary. And then Dave Rink. He's winning regattas left and right. So it'll be fun talking to those guys. And you'll see them. Let's start off with the decision on the weekend outlook was looking pretty gruesome. We had people were getting scared away by the wind. It looked like we didn't know if we were going to get some races in, and it was when we got out to the lake. It was nice. It was a steady 12, 13 with some gusts here or there, but definitely sailable. It was projected to be higher, and then as soon as we got out, it went the dials just turned up, and we were out there, and we just decided, well, we're already out here. Everybody's already consolidated, so we just decided to stick with it. We were within the class limits. We didn't want to push the limits, obviously, but we were out there, and we ended up doing it. Just wondering what you guys think. Obviously, the wind came down in the afternoon. If we would have known that for sure, we would have gone back in and waited. But what do you guys think of that call?
I loved it. I expected to come into the regatta with no races on Saturday because too much wind, and no races on Sunday because of too little wind. And I thought it was those gusts were heavy. They were heavy, but there was some relief between them. So, and there were no waves. We were always close to shore, so I thought it was fine.
Obviously, if we would have known the wind was going to come down, be a little more manageable 3 or 4 hours later, we would have waited. But we can never tell the future. When we're out there, one thought going through our mind was, well, if we tell everyone to go back in and then it doesn't come down, we send them back out, they're going to be mad. And if the wind shuts off completely, which was a pretty good chance based on the wind projections that it might, and then we don't race at all when we could have been racing, we were going to get burned at the stake. So that was our logic. But obviously, in retrospect, we wish we would have known the future. We would have made it a little more easier. Obviously, with the boat damage that I particularly received, and people were out there. On the other hand, we had people who were in way over their heads and came back with big smiles on their faces because they survived and learned a lot too. So it was it definitely went both ways. So
one comment I would have from a safety point of view is it's early in the year. The water temperature was okay, but in those conditions, a lot of people did end up in the water last weekend. In these conditions, one of the things to do is to look at the water temperature before you're making decisions about whether to sail in a particular wind. Yeah, like I said, it was okay, but this earlier in the spring, it might not have been.
Yeah, there were some gusts. I don't know. It had to be gusting over 30 at times. Like Mark said, there was some relief in between. The air temperature was warm. The sun was out, and that made for comfortable sailing given how much wind there was. I'm happy we sailed. It was hard work.
And being one of the people that was in the bath, the temperature was water temperature was very reasonable.
Well, another thing is we did have a safety boat that was supposed to be there that never showed up. No call, no showed on us, and that was that was frustrating. But we did have another safety boat lined up, so we were a little overwhelmed with a less than perfect safety boat situation. And but they did a good job with what they had, I thought. But we also had someone come out of the blue and help later on in the day with another power boat, so we just got lucky there. But we did have safety boats lined up. We also ran into a little problem with the marks floating away. We were really excited. We got these brand new, really big marks, but they create some windage, and we didn't adjust with the anchors apparently, and that's another little lesson learned. But
hey, so Mark, without getting too personal, Mark, can I ask how much crew weight did you have? How comfortable did you feel with what you had out there?
I felt pretty good. I had I'm about 205, and my crew was what do you think, Jody?
Be careful.
Like
be careful.
Yeah.
Oh, you're treading water, man.
Careful. yeah.
That's why I prefaced that without getting too personal. So you were in the 350 range, probably.
I'd say about like two. We were like
He was sailing 3 up.
We were probably 4, a little more.
No, you were 3 up.
Yeah,
Mark?
3 up.
Yeah.
3 up.
Oh, so you were really comfortable.
Yeah, it was pretty comfortable. I mean, we had one of the women on the boat had never been on a sailboat before, And so she was a little like she was weight on the boat, but she wasn't weight out.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. But
But
it's
it
just
but it
amazing
certainly
how much
helped.
more comfortable a Flying Scot is with 450 pounds of weight on board. You really
For
can
sure.
handle those 20-mile-an-hour, 25-mile-an-hour gusts a lot easier with a little more weight. It's a completely different experience with more weight on the boat.
Yep.
Yeah, Peter and I sailed at probably a little over 400 pounds, maybe 410. With the flat water, we really tightened the rig up too to try to depower. I think we were at about 180 pounds on the forestay.
So when you tightened up, did you tighten up on the back shrouds or the forestay? Where'd you go first?
We have a loose and a tight setting on our forestay, so we moved the forestay one notch tighter, and then we went one hole tighter on the
so you really went
side
for it.
stays on the shrouds, and that took us to about 180.
Okay.
On the loose gauge for the high wind, flat water.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's really
And I
tight.
thought we were pretty fast. I mean, when
That's
we were
tight.
next to Mark, when we weren't doing stupid things, we were doing fine.
So Mark, how did you like having the extra body in the boat just for maneuvers?
Well, I mean, she is really small, so we didn't have any problem moving at
Okay.
all. I mean, it was Jody's butt in Julie's face, and they're good friends, so it was
It's
not
the
a problem.
Vang. The Vang is the extreme eliminator there, where you have to back through it. Yeah.
But they're both, and actually both of them are runners, and Julie's a trail runner, so they're pretty nimble too. So they work pretty well together, actually.
That's good. Did you make any changes to your rig?
No, I'm not really a tuning guy. I liked where I had it in Connecticut. Yeah, and I just keep it there all the time.
Nothing wrong with that. I know Dave Rink here, he climbs under the deck we talking to him in the parking lot, and he's running around changing his rig all the time.
It just makes me feel good.
You know, but he's right. Most of the time he gets it right. I change the rig and you're guaranteed I'm doing it wrong. So I'm with you, Mark. It's just like, I can't overthink the wheel.
No.
All right. Well, we took some video from this weekend. I have basically the starts and mark roundings set up for every single races 1 through 4. I don't have race 5. We can go to those. I have some capsizes and that we can watch. Basically, it's whatever you guys want to watch. We can do it any which way you want to, whatever you guys want to talk about. I have stuff queued up if you want to see it. So is anybody particularly interested in a particular part of the race they want to look at?
Let's watch the start.
The start of race 1?
Sure.
Do you want the audio or you want without the audio?
Will the audio have the countdown to the start? Because I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you want nice Mark Taylor, like saying, "Oh, that's all pretty," or do you want realistic Mark Taylor going, "What are you doing?"
Now we have
second one.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to pull that down next time the horn goes. Okay, we have 35 seconds. Nobody is close. That's a good thing.
So while we're talking
30
here,
seconds
35
to go.
seconds.
Everybody's off the line.
To the start.
No, to the sequence.
To the sequence. Okay. So Dave Rink,
No,
you're out
this
there
to the
doing
start.
20
this.
seconds to go.
Yeah.
What are you looking at? Before the starting sequence?
Yeah, I mean, the boat must be way favored because there's nobody on the line.
10
at all.
seconds. Everybody's well below the line. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Eric, freeze it.
Start. Everybody's
Freeze it,
through.
Eric. Can you pause it, Eric?
Not really. Hold on.
Okay. So you heard the horn go off. How many people are on the line?
2.
2 or 3.
All right,
One
guys,
at
that was
best.
a good start. Good job, everybody.
Well, it
Not
was a
my
good start
problem.
for him as racing.
Apparently
He
there's
had to
no
call
room.
him
I kept
over
on hearing
early.
no room. Kept on waiting to hear a big boom, but thank God I didn't hear one. So
So can you pause the volume?
yes, I can.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Mr. Rink, how far into the sequence before the start are you, I'm trying to word this correctly, your last maneuver be headed to the starting line? When do you perform your, would you like the amount of time to perform your last tack or your last jibe to be headed in the direction for your start, wherever you are on the line?
Yeah, usually anywhere between 20 and 40 seconds.
Okay. Mark
Lighter
Johnson,
air, you can wait a little longer, but
what's your timing?
I've been trying to get a little longer, like closer to 45 seconds to a minute.
Okay.
If I'm screwing around at 30 seconds, I'm probably missing a hole. And I don't, the two fleets that I sail in, they're not super aggressive, coming from behind you and trying to head you up. So.
Okay. So those of you who weren't on the starting line, you hear kind of some of the thought process. Sometimes it's not a matter of where you are on the line. You got to be on the line to start, right? I'm not a great starter. So I make sure that within a minute, I'm at least on starboard tack, if that's where I'm going to start on starboard tack, and headed towards the line. If you go back and roll back to the start, half the fleet was still going the other direction when the gun went off. And you know, I know there's communication on the radio, so everyone kind of knew when to start their watches, and you know, it all starts there.
One of the things going on, I think this weekend, it was really gusty, and there were some pretty big gusts coming down there, and I think people were a little more cautious on the start because of that.
I believe that. And one thing that I think Mark said was, or maybe you said it, Peter, was there was always shore around. I've sailed on this lake. Shore is really close to the starting line usually, right? So it gets a little scary, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the one thing when I first watched these videos, I'm like, there's only like 3 people starting. You know, everyone is between 10 and 30 seconds late. I'm not trying to be mean, I'm trying to be observant.
Starts the regatta went on.
They did.
It was my best start of the whole regatta, Mark. So.
Okay.
Yeah, the starts got better, particularly on Sundays.
Like it drifted down and then it's set.
Away, so
we need to just.
Sorry about that, guys. I just jumped up to where people around in the mark up there.
Now, one thing you'll notice here is there's supposed to be an offset mark, and all we can find is the weather mark. And as it turns out, it was the weather mark that had come free and drifted, and we're probably 200 yards downwind of where the offset mark is. So everybody rounded the weather mark. It was the drifting mark.
So it was shortening the course.
Effectively, yeah. We looked and looked and looked and couldn't find the offset mark. We figured it wasn't there. And then people just followed us. It was a parade.
I'm sure everybody noticed. Everybody is, when the gusts hit, are rolling up hard, because the gusts, when they came in fast and furious, and it was sometimes difficult to gauge when you saw the wind coming, exactly how much wind there was. And I got caught by it like almost every single time. I started really being overly cautious.
And it's the angle, right?
Yeah,
it's not just the puff when you got the shoot up, it's the angle.
Exactly.
You get caught with your pants down.
And up near the windward marks close to the shore, it's difficult even to see them on the water, because
even more squirrely.
They don't get down to the water until partway down the course.
Yeah, it looks calm here by comparison to the start, right?
It does, but it's very deceiving. The lake doesn't have a lot of wave. You can't see a lot of wave action.
Right, and we have the advantage of 100 feet, so we can actually see the puffs in the water, where you guys, they would just come slamming up into you. Did it look like we had this? So Dave and I were both in different regattas at the same time. Down in the Keys, the water was coming over the land and was bouncing. So you'd get puffs and lulls based on the breeze bouncing off the water. Were you guys experiencing something like that with the puffs, or would it just blow diagonally across the course?
They'd blow diagonally across the course, and there would be a minimum of a 20-degree wind shift with every puff.
So one of the things that I was told by one of the locals was that when the wind is coming from this direction and actually a little bit more from the north, that large hospital, St. Mary's, up on the hill that we can see, the wind apparently will decide to go around one side or the other, and Mark, like you were saying, sort of oscillate.
That guy missed the mark.
Yeah.
Who rolled back? That guy up towards the front of the fleet missed the mark and spun around?
He shrimped his chute and it turned him.
Okay.
The little bit longer version is take up reel didn't take up the spinnaker halyard. It got wadded up and got caught on us. When we got it free, we dropped the chute. Chute fell in the water, became a sea anchor, drug us around. So that was an equipment and operator malfunction.
Sorry, I tried scrubbing to go back and it jumped me forward. So
it's okay.
So I'm gonna recalibrate here. So could watch it again if you want, but or we can jump ahead.
So this is that leeward mark rounding here, the first bottom mark, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So there's Dan on the inside in the yellow boat in a good position, and we're just outside of him, encouraging him to keep it close to the mark, and then he just made a left turn, and we weren't really wondering why. Okay, see that?
Yeah. Now it makes sense, because I'm like, what did he do? And then someone else had done it before him. Did you see that? There was another guy outside him.
Yep.
So,
so we had taken down very, very, very early. We had the chute down and put away before we even got to the zone in that breeze. We just didn't want to take any risks, and you don't go that much slower without the kite.
Nope.
Yep.
So
we sailed the midwinters without a kite and got 11th.
I think that's a pretty smart move, all things considered. Could have been a lot worse if it would have gone in there and fouled and banked some boats in that kind of wind. So
look at these guys planing. Did you see that with the jibs up? It's got to be humming out there.
Yeah, there's
in the gusts. It was humming.
There's a fair amount of planing downwind.
Yeah.
Mark, I really liked your mark rounding there. You know, that jib luffed really nice so you could get the bow up into the wind, and then it got trimmed in. It looked great. So many people want to trim the jib early on the leeward mark rounding.
Yeah, you can't trim early because you can't turn the bow.
Right.
all right, you want to jump up to then we go to the next windward mark.
Yeah.
So you're sitting in the boat now. So your puffs were like from what? 8 to 20?
8 to 30.
Oh, 8 to 30. Okay.
So here we are going around the windward mark, and
Sitting in
again,
the
there's hardly any breeze right there.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of puffs you can see rolling that have already passed.
We are moving. You notice we just picked up speed there, right there. The puff's actually in the sails, but hardly on the water. And by the way, the windward mark is back in the right place, and we are going around the
And there
offset.
is an offset now. Yeah.
So they picked up the windward mark on you and moved it forward.
They moved it back.
Yeah, that's a standard.
Okay.
That's a standard race committee move. Didn't you know that, Mark? I mean,
good. No,
if the mark's in the wrong place, just move it.
Here's what I say: you thank the race committee unless you want to do their job. They do a great job.
Well, we were talking about it, and we're like on the boat. Says, well, did anybody gain a disadvantage by it? And we just didn't know. And turns out, I think Greg Florian was the only one who actually went to the offset mark, but he was out of the next couple races, and he didn't care. So we're like, well, do we throw out the race, or do we let people protest? And then no one protested, and so everyone was aware about it. It's just what do you do in that situation? I just don't know. If it was a North American Championship, we would have had to throw it out, obviously. But
I think as a fun club race, you did exactly the right thing.
Me too.
Yeah, if it made a difference in the place, it'd be a different story.
See him roll up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, when the wind would come through, and it wasn't always, you could see it coming on the water, but you couldn't always gauge just exactly how much force there was there.
Okay, that is a recipe for capsizing right there.
Yep.
You got that right.
I'm
Especially
impressed
when you're
everybody's
tired.
up.
You want to watch the finish? You want to go on to the start of race number 2?
Let's go to the next start.
Go on to the next start.
4, 3, 2,
Prep
1.
flag's about to come down. Okay.
That was
Minute to go. Minute to go.
Prep flag is down. Prep flag is down.
All right, where's he going? The guy on the bottom of the screen.
He's going the awesome way. You'll see.
You'll see the pin is favored by about a mile.
Okay.
Is it?
Lots of yelling going on back there.
Starboard tack looks favored.
35 seconds. Crystal, you ready? Crystal,
No,
you
it's
ready?
not. You're right.
And the wind shift for that.
25 seconds. Okay, everybody's getting a little bit more aggressive this time.
Yeah, that's better.
15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Now,
2,
pause it.
1.
Who's on the line?
Basically no one.
No one.
They were pretty close though. It's a
Nice
lot
port
better.
start. Who's that? Is that you guys, Mark?
I think I was a little too heavy with the trigger finger on the camera switching there.
Yeah, it was a huge pin favor.
Yeah.
All right, we're basically sailing. Okay. You want to watch it again?
Nope.
Keep going.
Go.
Jump
So
ahead to the windward mark.
Did we
Oh,
find
I'm
out?
waiting to see the guy who started on port if he's going to cover.
Nope, because the
Nope.
right's favored.
Is it?
Happy to go right. We found that out in the first race.
But he doesn't look like he's progressing towards the mark. Or where is?
I
the
know.
mark?
It's kind of a weird angle that we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look at the lift he's on now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So who is that? That port tack the fleet?
Mark,
That's me.
Yeah.
Start.
Nice.
I don't know if that blurry area is a puff up in there, but if it is, you're hitting right on the edge of it.
Yeah, and that was
Give
kind
you
of
a
the
nice
goal
lift.
was to get on that. You're right, to get on the left side of that
Right.
puff.
Correct.
So Mark did two things right on that start. He was on the line at the gun.
Well,
and
you
he
don't
had
be
figured
late
out that
on port, okay?
and he saw that everybody else was going to be miles behind. Plus, he had read that the pin was favored.
Well, Mark, go back and explain so the newer sailors understand why they want to attack on the edge of the puff.
So I don't know if you can. Which Mark?
Yeah,
Mark,
You go, Mark.
Mark Taylor, you mentioned it on the puff, and then you
So
then Mark.
If you look at a
one of you
puff like your
explain it to him.
handprint, okay, and what it does is if you sail around the edges of a puff, you can lift around it. If you sail into the middle of it, you don't get the lift off of it. Sometimes you get headed to the edges. So you kind of want to attack puffs from the leading side, not the trailing side. Did any of that make sense?
Yeah, the pressure from those puffs tends to go out from the center of the puff.
Yes.
And so you get a relative lift on either side.
Right. And Mr. Rink, you okay with that one?
Yeah. Yeah. The handprint is a good way to explain it.
Kind of like that's the wind direction, and you just kind of lift around the edges.
Right, because the breeze is coming down, hitting the water, and then fanning out.
Fanning out.
Like your hand.
Coming up to the windward mark now.
Someone got up to you though, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, there were lots of passing lanes here because
The wind was
I mean,
everywhere.
if you were
huh?
just another 30 yards off to one side, you'd get something much different.
And look at the puffs, both of you kind of reacting to the puffs as they hit coming in there.
Well, you better not cheat your main cleat.
Yeah, I know.
Cleat your main
Cleat the main
sheet.
sheet, right. Right, look at the vang off. See the vang pop?
That main's pretty far out. Is this a jibe set?
Almost all of our sets were jibe sets this weekend.
Yeah.
Look how far out the main is.
Yep.
That's the telltale.
Probably could have hoisted.
Yep.
I don't know if you wanted to do a jibe though.
Pretty sure we did there.
No, I
Wow,
mean the
yellow
jibe without the
hole.
chute's a lot easier than jibing with the chute, so. So now and we don't have the camera angle. Whoop.
Ooh, that's better.
Oh yeah, we
There's
do.
an angle.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. Daring. Is that your boat there? It was almost hit then?
Yeah. Actually, no.
That was Eric's boat almost
Yeah.
getting hit again.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it is.
It has a big target on the side that says "hit me."
If we ever get a chance and they're doing the jibe sets, there's a jibe sets can be hard. Or they can be really easy. Michelle and I do them all the time. So for us, jibe sets are really easy. And one of the keys to it is when you jibe the main, trim the jib in on the wrong side. So when you pull the chute up, the chute doesn't try and go in the four triangle. It doesn't try and go between the jib and the main. It slides off the jib forward.
That's a
So
real
you don't.
clever.
So it makes it easier.
That's a real
So
clever.
if you're doing your jibe set, where are you? What side are you trimming your jib to?
So
port?
what we do is as you come in, you're on starboard. As we go around it, Michelle pulls in the port jib sheet as hard as she can. We jibe the main over. So now the main's on the starboard side.
Yep.
Jib's on the port side, backwinded
And the
a little.
jib's bladed on the
on the other side. Right? So then when you hoist the chute, it slides forward instead of through the four triangle.
Got it.
Yep. Yeah.
Clever.
And then as soon as it gets forward, poof, it just pops. And then she uncleats that and goes and gets the pole.
And on a puffy day like it was here, it's probably right to not launch the spinnaker on the offset leg. But if it's a jibe set, usually you can start sneaking that spinnaker up on the offset leg.
Usually.
And I would do that in less than 15. I wouldn't do it on super gusty like today.
So,
yeah, it'd be more.
Yeah, like my wife has to stand up on the deck. So we don't, you gotta choose your poison. In waves it's really hard.
Here's this is an almost perfect move right there, except still came down a little low. If that came up a little higher, a little sooner, that would have been a great pass.
So I like what both of those guys did. Even the third guy, both of you guys went around, luffed up a little to get the boat under control, and then trimmed in and went forward. I know you guys were probably thinking about trying to slam the door on somebody, but that is kind of how you go around these marks. If you don't put that bow up, you guys were able to keep the jib out to get the bow up.
Well, Rick Weiner came from behind, and he had a nice high rounding.
See, now watch this. See, it's harder to turn there. He couldn't turn his bow. Look how far away he is now.
Oh.
And I'm swimming.
Where'd you go?
There's a boat down.
Oh, is that you back there?
Yeah, capsize.
So did you wipe out in a puff or a jibe?
I'm kind of inspecting on them right now.
I ended up with the spinnaker sheet wrapped in the main, and things went from bad to worse when I tried to go back and clear it.
Got your binoculars?
This is 5735 capsize boat. We have a mass float on. We're fine.
They're good. They got mass float on.
Okay,
Was he getting a beer?
I think they were playing cards.
He was saving the beer.
I think at that point I was saving my radio.
What's he climbing in for?
Well,
he has the mast flotation on. He doesn't have to go to the mast.
Just go under.
Under what?
Go under.
Or get the centerboard out.
It's out. You got it.
Okay.
Well, we messed up. We did not pull the chute in. And I would say we always talk about we're going to practice. We need to make an effort to make everybody practice it this year. It's only my second capsize. I run out of air pretty quick. But anyway, it is a different animal when you're in that kind of wind. And we weren't totally surprised by it, but the mast float really made a huge difference from compared to what you'll see later. We had declared that we were okay, but the safety boat ends up coming and grabbing the mast that took us out of that race.
Yeah, we've been in the MC class and a couple other classes. We've been putting a condition in our notice of race or sailing instructions that says it's okay to receive help. Because it's not like, you know, if these guys come along and help you get up at this point, it's not like you're going to, you know, do super well in the race anyway.
I agree with you, Mark. I think that can be a little, you know, was it really help that wasn't created an advantage for you? Or was it just help that was getting you back in so that you could finish?
It allowed you to have enough energy to sail the next race. If you're fighting to get the boat up and then you get it up and then you're wiped out. And the worst thing, as you get tired, heavy air gets harder.
And you will see that in race 3.
Now, the amazing thing was we took extra mast floats. We made sure, and I announced at the competitors meeting that I had extra mast floats. And there was 2, if not 3 of them left on shore that nobody wanted. But especially these shallow lakes where you end up putting the mast in the mud. And I was able to make good speed with practice sails and the mast float on, so I don't feel that bad about it.
I don't think the top of the main meant anything when you're dumping it all the time, so.
So did you notice right there, you can't see the gust on the water?
Couldn't see it.
You couldn't see it, and then they rolled up hard on that.
I don't know exactly how I got that sheet over the main, but if anybody's experienced that, I'm interested in your remedy to clear it.
Where was it again exactly?
The sheet was up over the main, cutting into the sail, and
so over the top of the boom.
Over the top of the boom.
Yeah, I've had my main sheet do that before.
It'll wrap the boom once.
Yeah.
Flip over. Yeah.
And I was trying to reach back and flip it and clear it. Made 2 swipes at it. By the time I made the 3rd swipe,
I think Eric did the same thing in up in Green Bay, didn't he?
Yeah, it's
same
exactly
scenario.
Yeah, well, it was a main sheet, and we had to go up into the wind, and it was crazy. Yeah.
You got to get the main back center line in order to get it off.
Wasn't easy.
It is going to.
Yeah, fast.
Look at the speed on that.
Yeah.
Look at them planing in. That looks like fun. Well, I mean, for that minute. Sorry.
Oh no, downwind, it was a blast.
Yeah,
that's a crazy.
Came in about the last quarter of that race for the leaders.
So that guy down there didn't fly a chute, or took it down early.
He did some damage to his chute on the first lap.
Okay.
Of that race.
Yeah, he sailed the second that last leg without a kite.
some more without kites. You see, you don't really lose that much. In the midwinters, we were sailing, and I know Dave had 3, so he sailed with his kite. We did not. We rounded the windward mark with Tyler, who flew a chute. We were on his transom. He was only 4 boat lengths ahead of us at the leeward mark.
That's pretty, that's amazing.
We didn't lose very much.
Yeah, especially because the waves were so big. I thought you would have lost more because of the big waves.
Well, the thing in the big waves is you guys couldn't put your bows down. We could ride the wave longer because we were slower.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a scary movie with the shadow coming at you. Yeah, how fast they're going. Wow, that's just cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Race committee got nervous.
All right.
Go try this
Is
at
race
home.
3, 10 seconds.
By the way, on those last couple of finishes, I think everybody should have finished at the pin because the pin was so favored. And I'm not sure why nobody went to the pin. We didn't go to the pin either. It just felt funny. But
I think
it's
favored. More of trying to stay under control, probably. Not being there, I don't know, but
maybe, but we were getting some big puffs from the left, so it seemed like going to the pin would have been a little safer too.
Here's race 3.
You'll see in the finish in this next race where
Boats are off the line.
we almost
no
wiped
one's
out.
Close.
Well, we did actually wipe out coming down to the finish.
Starting to get more aggressive as the day goes on, don't they? 30 seconds.
It's here.
See, who's that?
This
is
still.
Is he going in?
That's the start line there. Okay.
This is an exciting start.
Everyone got better.
Well,
15 seconds.
What you got?
10 seconds.
That's looking good.
Look at the puff. Look at the guy healing
You're
over.
yelling behind me. No.
It must be humming.
5, 4, 3.
The start of this
2,
race was 30.
30. Okay, it looks 30.
Start.
The port tack start. Is that you, Mark?
Yeah.
Again.
Look at that
Doing a
port
great
tack
job. I
start
don't
by
care what
5721. That is awesome.
Yeah, look, and the next boat just crossed the starting line.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought for sure that second race nobody was going to let me do that because they didn't change the line at all from the second start.
Like this, we're right there. Bang, we got hit right there.
We got hit there. Yep.
Yeah.
And we're going over
Is
here.
that you
and
going
then
over?
save it. Well, we just got hit and kind of lost control. Port boat just clipped our back quarter trying to duck.
But let's talk about that a little bit. You know, when the pin is favored, right? When the pin is favored, then usually port tack is going to be the long tack. And so you want to be on the long tack, right? You want to be on port tack. And usually when the pin's favored, it's a race. Whoever is on port first is going to win.
And you don't always have to be at the pin on port.
Right, you don't. Because
you just got to be on port.
Yeah.
But look at the separation.
So the problem we ran into down there, and we were probably 3 or 4 boat lengths from the pin, is we couldn't get back to the right. We couldn't
trapped.
tack and cross people.
Yeah, you got trapped.
We were close enough. So we tried to take a hitch back in, didn't work, tacked back onto starboard, got hit by another port guy, and there was just no place to go to get back across to the right where we were.
Just took.
So yeah,
monster header. Way to tack.
And yeah, before the start, I was being cautious about position, maneuvering simply because of the boat, the speed and the control we had with those. That was a really heavy gust at that moment.
Yep.
Peter, was that the race that we went back and forth on the starting line to rescue that hat?
Yeah, that was.
Not our hat. Somebody else lost a hat.
It was Chris's red Mad Sales hat. He was wearing before the race. It was like too valuable a hat to wear on a day like today.
Yeah, so he lost it in the first race up near the top of the course, and during the start of the third race, his hat was on the starting line during the sequence. So we passed it and tried to pick it up and missed it the first time with about 4 minutes to the start. We took another run at it with about 3 minutes to the start and missed it again. Then we were stubborn and didn't give up, and we went back for more and caught it on the third time. And by then there's a minute to go, and we really weren't in position to do what we wanted.
Glad you got your priorities right.
Yeah.
Hey, it was Chris's hat, man. It was
I
a
hope
nice
he bought
hat.
you. I hope he bought you a free beer when you got in.
There was plenty of cocktails to be having.
Chris was very appreciative.
Somehow we managed to pull a third out of this race.
Well, we're fourth. We're fourth at the windward mark, and you're going to see how we end up in third in just a minute.
Oh yeah. Poor Kevin and Kendall.
Kevin and Kendall actually, yeah, they got a lot of views on their video of that one.
Yeah, we got preview of that one early. It got sent to us in a text.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were bumper to bumper. We were behind them, and we were going to try to jibe set inside of them, and then they weren't there anymore.
And we could have used your trick of sheeting the jib down to port, because our chute went up
and
on
blew
the wrong
through the triangle.
Through the triangle. Yep.
I had to take it down and try again.
Yeah.
Yep.
And David's busy taking it down, and he totally missed the fact that Kevin and Kendall rolled it. It's like, where'd they go?
So are they over right now?
Not yet. I don't know.
You'll see them at the next windward mark. The last is this the where are we here?
Oh,
First
right.
one. This first beat.
This is the first wind. It's the next windward mark.
Yeah.
And you do see it.
Yep.
You know, they sailed really well. They had a second and a second in the first two races.
Mm-hmm.
And going into this race, it was a three-way tie for first. We had a 1 and a 3. Mark had a 3 and a 1, and Kevin and Kendall were 2-2. So it was kind of fun.
And that Silver Surfer was just loud and proud out there in front, right?
I like that boat. Now, did we get a shot? They had a camera on top of their boat, right?
They did.
Yeah.
That's in the mud.
Yeah,
They
it's in the
lost
mud.
2 cameras. Yeah.
Per acre of lake, I think Lake Decatur's got to rank right up there with top of electronics in the
Eric, I don't know what the film looked like or if you got it, but when that drone crashed into the Nessie boat and they caught the drone, it bounced off their main.
You'll see.
Oh, that was a pretty.
And I like that
late-
Kevin and Kendall took their shoot down early. Don't be afraid to shoot down early, because that is a problem.
That's a problem right there. That's the problem.
Who's upside down?
My boat.
That you?
No.
No, that's his boat.
My boat.
Still hurts like it's you.
How many times did it actually go over, Eric?
At least 3 times. I looked over. It was sailing off by itself.
Oh, no.
Well, they raised it yet again with nobody. Well, the guy who doesn't know how to sail was in it, and the guy was out. So the very final time I looked back at my boat, the guy who knows how to sail was being dragged from behind. But we're like, okay, at least they got it up. They'll figure it out from there. It was tough watching, but what can you do?
No fun. So, those of you who've tipped over, ladder or no ladder?
Definitely ladder.
Ladder.
Okay.
I'm definitely getting a ladder every time. There's no way.
I've got the Postimo makes a 4-foot rope ladder that fits in an 1.5 inch port on your transom, and it's 4 feet long, so it's a lot easier to use than the 2-step steel ladder, stainless ladder.
Well, I got to see that one. What was it? Postimo?
Yeah. I at Ephraim last year, people were swimming, and I dropped it, and it made it way easier for people to get on the boat, back onto the boat.
We sold 6099 that had our ladder, and 6022 doesn't have a ladder. Michelle's been yelling at me for the last 2 years. So, gotta look for something.
Yeah, it's
It's going.
I'll go back to the last win mark on race 3, if you can.
Know if we can watch Kendall.
Yeah. Now this isn't the 3 boats. The 3 leaders were close together, so that's not what we're looking at here, right? Right now.
That's the leader, isn't it?
No.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. We were just far enough ahead.
You're right, Mark. Yeah, you're right. Mark was way out in
launched.
Front. Yeah, Mark was launched.
It doesn't look like there's any vang on this at all.
Yeah, but he's also sitting in. I don't think they're he's struggling to get around the course.
He's a brand new sailor who shouldn't be out in this, but he should. And he came back. He almost turned in, but because he was in way over his head, came back, was super excited that he went out and survived. So I was
Hey, he's out there.
He's out there.
He is hooked for life.
The only way you can even get better in this stuff is to go out and try it. And that's his first time sailing anything like this whatsoever. So he did a great job. I don't know if we're going to get a chance to see. Is Kendall coming up?
Then we cut away. Yeah.
I thought I saw this yesterday. I thought I saw that the windward mark action was on the video here.
You have to be in that group up there now.
I was really distracted in third race with what was going on with my boat, so I don't even remember.
That boat gibless?
Yeah, that was a boat that was righted. I think they.
He's got a jib up. Tough to see.
Well, masthead float. So Mark, is that your kite up right there?
Yes.
Middle of the shot. And then so the other 3 are right straight behind you, doing their jibes right now.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna broach here.
Nope, we're not gonna see it.
Oh yeah. So right here you can see Kendall go over, but it's at a distance. It's in the background. It's hard to see.
So the boats are at
There it
speed,
goes.
right? So the boats are at speed. You know, fairly experienced sailors. You know, well in control of their boat, and the gust is severe enough that it causes them to go over. Right? I mean, because you can see where the gust hits them. Kevin can't. I'm not sure why he didn't have the tiller extension.
Right there.
Yep. Mark broached.
Yeah, there's our broach. That was we were going downwind. We were at like 45 degrees to the wind. I didn't bear off hard enough. And my crew, who had never been on a sailboat before, was looking behind me saying, "There's a puff coming in 5 seconds, 4 seconds." And I'm like, "Julie, you're full of shit. Like, we're planing right now. There's no bigger puff." And she was right on the money. Yeah, that's just full out planing all the way down.
I think you're missing a color on that chute. Don't know what it
You
is.
think so?
Look at that thing go.
Brown.
Well, you guys were watching that. I was trying to see if Kevin and Kendall, you can embed video. They don't have it set up where you can embed their video. So otherwise, I would have shown it. So. That's how close it ended up being. And you guys will move on to race 4 start.
So the first 3 races were all on Saturday. Is 4 on Sunday?
Four's on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, we got two races in Sunday, 4 and 5.
And were the conditions a little bit better?
Probably 8 to 13 in the first race on Sunday, and 4 to 10 in the second race. There were some dead spots.
Yeah.
And that's us finishing there. It was going fast. It was fun.
Yeah. It's always fun to watch when they start planing.
Mm-hmm. Eric, can you show the first 5 minutes of that race 4 pre-start off of YouTube?
See what we got.
So Mark, Peter, Dave, you guys were in a looks like solid first and second there after the first day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. We were
And
2
we wound
points
up tied on points, right? We had a 1-1-3-3-3, and Mark had a 1-1-2-3-4.
This is what you wanted to see, right, Dave?
Yeah, the race 4 start from YouTube if you can.
That's what we're at right now. That's what we're watching.
Oh, from the one I sent you, the link I sent.
Oh, I hadn't queued that up. Give me a second, I can.
Sure.
That looks like a pretty nice start there.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit
but
of
watch
this.
how, here's a horrible tack. We're about to tack. See the big puff on the right? We're going to go over and try to get that puff on the right, even though we know the left is favored, which is a stupid thing to do.
Why do you know the left is favored?
From every other windward leg. Now, we stopped on this tack. We turned too fast and stopped, and now we're putting ourselves in danger of a foul, but the port boat bails us out by tacking to leeward. And now we go over, absolutely going fast the wrong way.
And so why did you think the left was favored if you saw the big puff on the right?
There's a big shift on the left shore, and what you're going to see in this race is by the windward mark, we're in about 12th or 13th place and deep. And on the last beat, we decided to go to the beach and catch that shift. And you're going to see the shift in some of these videos here.
Yeah.
It's big. It's like a 50-degree lefty that the
I
boat's
watched-
closest to shore got.
I watched this one and I was really surprised because it didn't look like there was any breeze on the water on the left, and all the breeze looked like it was on the right. And I
I'm with
couldn't
you.
believe.
They came out ahead.
In one leg, the second windward leg, we went from 12th to 1st.
Yep, 6290 makes it to the windward mark first.
It was a healthy lead, right?
And they're the farthest inshore.
Yep.
And they're just going to
look at
wind
that.
it way up in there.
Hey, Dave, help me out. How far into the video should I go to start playing it from when you started playing?
Start it right at the beginning. It's the 5-minute gun for the pre-start.
Copy that.
That looks like so much more relaxing than it was the day before.
Oh, yes.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But pretty shifty still.
Except for if you're the boat way on the far right of the screen right now up at the top.
Yeah, you're panicking.
Trying to get back across.
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty.
The wind died, and it died on the right-hand side of the course first.
You don't look too bad there, but it's hard to tell on the angle.
Yeah.
So Jennifer and I got a terrible start on this one. We got buried. A bunch of people came and rolled us. Oh, okay.
All right. Didn't mean to do that. My bad.
Okay, so this is that same start from aboard our boat.
You want the sound on or off?
Sound on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that's our 5 minutes.
All right, ready about?
So maybe we fast forwarded to about a minute left.
You guys look like you're working it hard there.
Yeah, we're old. Whenever you want. Yeah. Pretty solid across, white caps down the middle.
Can you freeze it, Eric? All right, can you go back a little?
No.
Okay. So what I want you guys to do when this camera is spinning around, as I've seen it a couple of times, I'm going to ask Dave Gorowitz to comment on it. How far back did you roll your board?
Our board was full down.
Full down, so like 2 inches behind the hump?
Right.
Okay. And for those of you who don't pay attention to it, if you guys think that when you let the board down, it goes to the bottom of the hump and that's all the way down, that's not full down. You got to roll the top of that board back. And it's obvious when in the spin shot, you can see it. All right, go ahead.
You don't think it was all the way down?
No, I thought it was. I just wanted to.
Okay, yeah, we have a knot tied in the rope down line at what we think is max down.
Right.
We go do another loop.
Okay, so hang on a second though. I thought I had heard from several people that pulling the rollers back off of the hump, so towards the stern, that opened up a slot in front of the lower pivot.
It could. Your goal is to get the board as perpendicular as possible without coming off the leading edge of the trunk.
Right. Okay.
You can go back too far, and then
there's a too
what
far.
happens.
So it's about 2 inches.
Okay, so Mark, you're saying that you can roll onto the flat about 2 inches.
Yep.
The center of the rollers.
The rollers.
Okay, center of the roller is about 2 inches back.
Like some of us, like I have a mark.
I have a mark.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. Okay, thank you.
And it's something you'll do. You put it up on a hoist and put the mark on.
And you can look down the front of the slot and see when you start to get that gap that you're talking about.
Oh, you know, because the board will rock then. You can feel a rocking board.
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
Stay closer up to the line a little bit. And then we're probably about 2 minutes out here, I think.
Yeah.
Boat's going to be favored by lunch.
There's a good chance to see it. There it is.
Anywhere you want. Just however you're comfortable starting, right? I'll let you just handle the start. And we're looking for a boat end start here. This is what we're trying to set up for.
But you said you knew the left side was safe?
Yeah, we're gonna sail across to the left side, but the boat end is favored here. The plan was to do that, and then we got sucked by that big puff into backing out into the lake.
It's a good looking couple down there.
Oh, thanks.
Look at them.
That was really nice, Mark. Jennifer was so excited to be out on the water. She was so bummed that the wind was so high on Saturday.
I like that drink holder.
we got a minute.
Watch Jim. Watch Jim. Okay, Jim.
Oh, wait, which boat are you in?
23. You gotta go way up. Early.
45.
And here we get followed by this blue boat.
Oh,
Wham! They catch our boom with their forestake on their tack. Oops.
28.
Close the door on them. Close the door. Sail to the boat. Sail for the boat. Go, get the bow down. Get the bow down. Okay, now up. Now up. 10, 9, 8, 7. We can race. Pump the main in. Great. Go, go, go. And if you want to see how to not tack a flying Scott, do not pinch.
We're at 350.
Do not pinch.
Yep.
Watch what we do. Can we tack? Let's tack. Look at the helm. Way down. And we stop. Don't sit. Don't fall. And they got us teed up. Jesus Christ. You tack. Come on. We got to get going on those tacks.
You're welcome.
And yeah, that's about it, Eric. Unless you want to watch more. So.
Well, the only other thing we haven't really discussed is basically the incident. We got some footage of it here, but basically Perry here, he's a J-22 sailor. He's not a Flying Scot sailor. Came and borrowed a boat, brought a guy who wasn't really a big sailor, and yeah, they struggled a little bit, but generally what happened was he pushed the he tried climbing instead of going to get the bow or get the masthead, and pushed it down, and now this is the situation, and it starts to get worse.
don't jump on the board.
And this is race 4, Eric?
This is race 3.
3. Yeah. From Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, from Saturday.
Yeah.
And the one other thing I can do is I can show you the little fun drone crash too.
Oh, it's coming up.
Yeah.
He got it up. He got it moving. He's losing a hat though. Did you guys collect that one?
Watch what happens though. Whoop, whoop.
Oh.
Yeah, right on over. Right on over.
I hate it when that happens.
Oh, that's going to leave a mark.
he's under the sail right now. It's just scary.
No, it's just it goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, like it's gonna pop up there. Yeah.
Weird place to pop up.
We're just doing a recap.
Did the board go up in the hole?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
see it anymore.
it's slammed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's slammed into the top cap, and actually, I think cracked it, broke it.
You guys want to know how much that costs? I know. $160 plus the shipping on stuff. So.
For a wood one or a plastic one?
Mahogany.
Either.
Replacing what he had.
To get your number put in it too?
Yeah, yeah.
So
that's not bad.
So Jennifer had a couple of questions here. Does this give us an opportunity for a new video? How boats, support boats could assist with capsized Flying Scots? Would that be something that
a race committee to watch?
Well, something that we might want to, get out there, and then also including maybe how to tow or pull out. I'm forgetting if there's one that shows emptying a full Scot by towing with the port open and stuff like that.
I have a towing boat. I have a riding with.
That's right.
A turtling video, but there's the.
Oh, the drone hit there.
Landed right in the boat. Well, I was thinking.
That's Quinn. I thought we were going to get a shot of Fiona.
Oh, you will. Everybody's smiling, so I was like looking closely. God, I hope they're smiling. Hope there's not blood squirting everywhere. So that was pretty fun.
So they weren't sure it was yours, Eric. Did they tell you that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were sailing next to me, and they said, this drone hit us, and we're not sure where it came from and stuff. And so I said, probably take it over to the committee boat.
We're just gonna take it home. Look what I found.
Yeah.
Well, the answer is, I mean, we can make any video we want to. We just gotta do it. But yeah, anything's possible. We don't have a lot of footage of safety boats, and maybe there is, but.
So she just wasn't sure if that would be something that would be smart for us to do as a way to kind of go, okay, so there's supposed to be a big wind, boats may go over in an event, that type of thing, whatever it is, and here's how to help. The other thing that she was not aware of was the asking if they wanted assistance because of the rule disqualification, getting outside assistance.
A lot of times when it's colder water, what they'll do is they start a clock of how long they've been in the water.
Oh, okay.
And you say you've got 15, 20 minutes, and then we're helping you whether you want help or not. We're probably hauling you out of the water. Right. We've had that at several regattas. I can't remember the last one was where we were at, but they were pulling people out of the water because, once you're in there and you get hypothermia, you can't tip your boat right side up anyway.
The class has that 120 suggested air temperature, water temperature combo.
Yep.
In with the guidelines and everything. Again, it's suggestion, recommendation, not a rule. But
hey, Eric, can we queue up the video of the Kuntz's tipping over?
We can't because they didn't allow for embedding. Otherwise, I would. I already tried. So.
You can't just grab it from what you sent us. Okay.
No, sorry.
Because it's interesting to watch because we were watching that one and it looked like he had a chance to turn. It's like driving in snow. He had a chance to turn into the wipeout and save it. And what he did is he threw the helm the other way, which then when you turn it up into the wind, the chute just pulls you over. Game over. You didn't have a chance.
I think he actually lost the tiller. I think
Is that what it was?
He was grabbing for the extension, and because he didn't have it, and that surprised me that he didn't have the extension in his hand, and I think it was a transition from between the legs and then going. Is that right? Am I thinking right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
So we should talk about the jibe and how to get the main across in big breeze, because usually the crew's sitting forward pulling the vang to get the main to come across. But when it's super breezy, the crew can't. It's too heavy. There's too much pressure on the main, right? And so the only way I know to get it across is to have the crew take the main sheet off the end of the boom and trim it in, right? To help the main come across.
Sure.
Right. And I don't know if a lot of people do that, or because what happens is if you don't do that, the crew can't get it across. So the skipper keeps turning up into the wind, and then he's on like a beam reach heading by the time the main comes over, and that wipes you out right there. Right. As soon as that main comes over, the skipper's got to drive it back downwind.
Right. Because if that tip of that boom hits the water,
right, it trims it in.
It trims it in.
Yep.
And so I've got something for you guys here. If we can go back a second to helping a boat that has capsized. And I'm referring to 25 to 28,
Awesome.
Dave Perry's book, right? And the rule is that a boat competitor or support person shall give all possible help to any person or crew in danger. And then there's a case where a dinghy capsizes, they get their mast stuck in the mud, and want to continue racing, right? They received some help to get righted, and they were initially disqualified. In the appeal, it's case 20. Even though they hadn't requested help, but the onus was on the support boat to help them and to not question whether somebody was in danger or not. And they were found to have not broken a rule by having received help to recover somebody who was potentially in danger in the water, and were allowed to continue sailing and finish the race. So there you have it.
Interesting.
Okay, and the rule itself has the exception in it, right?
The rules.
Outside help. A boat shall not receive help from any outside source except to receive help for a crew member who's ill, injured, or in danger, or after collision help from the other boat. So yeah, you can receive help and keep sailing.
Okay.
The rules seem to have been, the changes in the rules seem to emphasize safety. In this latest edition, the way they changed some things, it looks like it's very much aimed at acting on the assumption that, the safety's first.
Well, I will follow up. I'll follow up with Jim offline if we want to start thinking about making a video for the class or something. That wouldn't be hard, but we just had to think it through. It's definitely doable. My question for you guys before we go is we got one of these planned for the Clinicotta. Are these helpful and worthwhile, or should we keep doing them? I just wanted to try something new and see if it would be worthwhile. If we don't think it's worth meeting every once in a while after one of these regattas, we don't have to do it. But if you guys like it, we can keep going.
Makes me jealous. I was missing out on playing it on the lake. All we did was sweat and shifty air in the Keys, but we were in the Keys, so there's that.
So
I think if the breeze is up, it's a lot of fun to watch the videos.
Right.
And if the breeze is 4 to 6, it's not so much fun watching.
It's like watching the grass grow.
No, but there are good teaching moments, even in the like 4 to 6. Like if we focus on a start or at mark roundings, we saw in this one, there were a couple of times where people were trying to do a more tactical rounding to, get above a competitor who had cut the mark close and that type of thing. And so I think there are some teaching moments, but to sort of extend it out to the whole length of this video that was taken, maybe that starts to get a little long in the tooth. But
I agree, Jim. Yeah.
If there are
we
some,
don't need
but
to
if there's
watch
some,
the whole race, we need to queue up 10 things that we noticed out of all the video, 10 3-minute clips to illustrate specific points.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Eric, how many views does the video have?
The live stream itself, I think it was over 500 last I checked it.
We played it at our regatta Saturday night. We queued it up at the bar. Everyone was just kind of watching it and drinking, and that was when we got in. It's like, hey, come on, let's queue this thing up and let's watch these guys go around the race course.
Well, we're going to continue to try and perfect the live stream. I think what we're trying to do is create like a manual and a guide so that groups of parents and kids regattas can do something like this at a consumer level and without having to break the bank. But I'm talking more specifically about the debrief, what we're doing right now, a Zoom debrief afterwards. We got one scheduled for the Clinigata. We're going to take a lot of video there. So that's
well, those that you've sailed, did you learn anything? Dave and I, we can point things out all day long and laugh, but it's really, did you learn anything? Was there anything worthwhile?
You got some nice legs in the background there.
Yeah,
Mark.
Is that Michelle's legs?
Yeah, I mean, we got some nice legs showing there.
So this video's going up on OnlyFans in about 10 minutes. Right?
I think she was working on her toes earlier.
Yeah, I think this is useful. And I'd be happy to see him participate in this again.
Well, Adam Gerber is a new sailor who we're targeting actually, more than us folks. Is he chimed in and thought it was helpful, so that's good.
Jim Moyle, did you enjoy any of that?
This was very helpful.
Okay.
I think, when I look at the videos, Eric, and I know there's glitches and it's difficult to do this, but what's most useful is when the drones are closest to the boats. And I know you don't get the big picture then. But particularly if we have new sailors out there, a few minutes of them going to windward, where people can look at it, they can see and their performance, what they're doing, and get suggestions based on that. I think that could be very useful, particularly to newer sailors. So if we can do something about getting video closer to the boats.
That was one of the things that Eric and I had a conversation, and I thought about this afterwards. Exactly what you're saying is, Eric, you now know or are close to know how many drones you need to get a shot of a regatta. Now, if you have extra drones, can you have a drawing and say, oh, we're going to follow boat number and pick out a number. We're going to follow this guy in race 1. We're going to follow this guy in race 2. And he gets his own video of the whole day, as a training video. And I don't care, how you pick it.
But even if you can do every boat for 5 minutes per race, I think that there might be a lot of value in that.
And I think that's kind of what Dave was trying to hint at. A few small segments, maybe at key. I think mark roundings and starts. Really, well, that's really helpful for me.
Good. Well, at the Clinigata, we're going to have coach boats, at probably 2 or 3 coach boats on the course during the actual racing, and they're allowed to comment, and we can shoot video from those boats as well as they're following somebody.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we'll pass the little 360 cam that we used for that you saw a little cut of earlier. We can just stick that on anybody's boat anytime.
One thing I wanted to add about like the value of something like this, I think a lot of it comes from having the people in the videos here and present to explain what went through their head, and having the reference in the video to see it one place and then hear from Dave or Mark earlier or anybody out there or Jim who was there participating and hear like, this is what happened and this is why I was making these decisions. Because that's the kind of thing that you do, I think us naturally we do at the clubhouse, like after the race, we'll chat it up about some of that kind of stuff. In a lot of classes, other non-flying Scott classes, a lot of people don't want to tell you what they're thinking. It's all like secret knowledge or whatever. And I think the Flying Scott class is kind of unique in the way that you guys all want to make people better. And I think that this format is very similar to like that kind of clubhouse format where we were all there, we kind of saw what happened, but now with the video, it's like an extra layer to that.
Well, sounds good. Yeah,
that's a win.
Yeah, because I mean, it just depends on the circumstances. But when I have the drone, I can focus more on coaching elements, or I can focus more on trying to get the race elements. There's also the hybrid where you kind of get the race, but everyone kind of separates after the first two legs. Everyone kind of separates. You know, generally where they're going to finish for the most part, and then that's when you can start going and probably getting some individual things, and maybe do both without sacrificing the race. So that's just where we're starting to land on it. So, but yeah, that gives you the best.
Actually,
both worlds.
That's a really good idea, Eric, to just maybe after the first lap, right? Then go in and spend a couple minutes focusing on each boat, watch them do attack, right? So that you can get, their attack on video and they can see what it looks like.
Yeah. Then the question is, do you get the winning boats, or do you get the mid-pack boats, or do you get the back of the pack boats? So it's
yes,
all of them, because
Yes.
you learn more watching how to not do it than you learn how to. I think
because one of the things we weren't able to get, and I wanted to see today, was where were people sitting? Were you sitting together? Were you sitting in the back? Were you sitting forward? And pitch of the boat is really important, and how you handle it. I often see people sit 3 feet apart, and it's like, okay, that doesn't work in my book. I don't know how it works for them, but or people hike off the shrouds. I don't sit that far forward, so I don't know how they can hang off the shrouds like that. But the shots weren't close enough on these to be able to say, look at how they're going upwind. But
so Mark, in a gusty breeze like what we're talking about, where would you be sitting? What's your reference point? And then Michelle is sitting obviously right next to you, right?
Yeah. So now you gotta remember where I am. We sail in a lot of chop. So for us, we sit further back in the boat. In heavy air, we'll be sitting where our forward leg is at the front of is at the post, the main sheet post. And in light air, it'll be our back leg. So we don't move that much, but it's because of the chop. Lake sailors, sometimes you guys all do things way different than us.
Light air versus heavy air too, right? Light air,
right.
You're sitting forward.
Move forward. But we don't ever go that far forward.
Okay.
And then where were people sitting downwind? Probably sitting more back because you could try and induce the planing. But in chop, it's because you're sitting further back because you're plowing into the waves in front of you. So there's a whole dynamic there that you got to pay attention to. I mean, I'm sure they could write a whole book on that, and they probably already have. So I appreciate you guys allowing me to sit in. Had a good time. Congratulations to everyone. It was good, looked like fun. I'm jealous. And I was in the Keys and I'm jealous. So I'll do it again if I get invited.
For sure, guys. Thanks everyone for doing this. This is great. This is live. It's available for everyone to watch immediately. I should probably put a link to this on the. Sorry, getting some sound distraction here. But yeah, thank you everybody. I'm probably going to put a link to this on the Flying Scott Facebook group or something. I assume they would probably find it helpful as well. So Any questions for me before you go, or any last words? We're gonna sign off here.
Yeah, I just
Thanks.
signed in. Can I get access to the drone footage?
It is accessible through the live stream that you can watch on my channel. The sailboat instructor channel. Everybody can watch what was live streamed, and we have race 4 on a drone video as well.
Can you send me a link?
Yeah, I in your registration I sent links to the videos to whatever email you registered with on Regatta Network. So check your email, and if you can't find it, send me another email, and I'll respond.
All right. Thanks.
My pleasure. All right.
Thanks for doing this, Eric. Awesome.
Thanks for the info, Peter.
We will see you. What's up next? Egyptian Cup?
Egyptian Cup for the Midwest District.
Yep. Very good, guys. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for all your work on this.
My pleasure. It's fun. It's not work. It's fun. Thank you.
Awesome.